Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads. And as always, welcome back to our Around the Hearth series. This time, we are coming to the end of the alignments with our chaotic evil discussion. But first, we do announcements. They are always less than 5 minutes from me. You can time me. Here we go. So with the Inn of Planar Crossroads and announcements, we're still working on the... When this comes out, we'll probably have either gotten it or getting pretty close to having it done. The webpage, so our actual webpage, theiopc.com, to where we'll have it kind of to be a central place for those that don't use YouTube to actually watch things on our videos from us, as well as a support portion there. So instead of having to go to Patreon or Subscribestar like normal, you could go there and do a direct payment with PayPal or something like that. And that would allow people to, hopefully, it will allow people to support once if they want to, or support occasionally if they want to, and different things like that. And it's worth mentioning that when someone supports the IOPC, they don't have to keep renewing that support to be a part of the Discord. You get into the Discord where we're going to share all of our created content as far as PDFs and stuff like that when we start making them there. So all of our third-party content will be there. And that's the main thing I have for announcements, where by the time this comes out, we should be finished with the Adventure Academia and the stuff with the kids, so you guys can let me know how you liked that in the comment section below if you want. I think that's it. So, that's me. That was less than 5 minutes. What about Dan and Kristen from Avenue Studios?
Hello. Yes, we are here. Unfortunately, we're set up for Bomb Squad right now, so that's why we have this backdrop. The wall I have been talking about is right there. It looks great, believe me.
It does.
Follow us on social media to see the pictures. Janae will be
all
posting
natural
those.
barnwood.
Yes, reclaimed barnwood.
It's amazing.
So,
believe him. Believe him. It's amazing.
believe me,
The
it's
best.
great. The best. So we will be on Twitch soon. Actually, the new computer we got is shipping, so by end of April, we'll be doing some test games. I'm really looking forward to seeing people on Twitch. And right now, depending on when this comes out, we're doing a subscriber challenge between Patreon and locals. If we get 10 more people, we'll be doing a special movie night with giveaways for our subscribers only. Dice pads, painted minis by Zek, and lots of cool stuff. Maybe Kanaga DVDs, which is the film, my college senior thesis film that I did 15-something years ago. So, yeah, that's what we're up to. Bomb Squad, Jacob's Lab, and hopefully going forward here we'll have more Druid's Tables with guests like the fantabulous Adam here.
You never know.
And that's us.
You never know.
Heyo, as the spotlighter,
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be spotlighting Deadly D8, something that you will find a bit more fun for in the bloopers. But Deadly D8 in general is Pathfinder 2nd edition mostly. Does interesting animation videos covering things from their games, going over lore parts of Galarian, which is the setting for Pathfinder. They will show off different rules aspects in fun, quick ways with an animation to try and help seal it in your head. Also some interviews from what I've seen mostly with people in Pathfinder 2nd edition. I don't know if they have or in future intend to branch out otherwise systems, but fun animations, good topics, Pathfinder 2nd edition focused. Also, I'm Levi, which I didn't say. Hi.
Hello.
There you go. So,
That's awesome.
all right. We actually did pretty well on announcements this time. Not too long for everybody. So,
Yeah, we got a lot of the stuff out before we started recording.
Yeah, yes.
yeah, we kind of did.
It
But
was good.
but that means that I guess everybody's just so ready to talk about chaotic evil. So Sit down, travelers. Come on in and get comfortable. Gather around the fire, grab your preferred beverage, and pop it open as we discuss chaotic evil. Alright. One thing we did not do was decide who was going first. So
I was just thinking that.
So
Go for it, Captain.
Yeah. It's my channel. I gotta absorb the mistake. So it's good that I have my notes. So
well done.
Alright. So as far as chaotic evil, a lot of people like to call this, and if you've been watching, I think they call it inaccurately, the evilest of the evils. Simply because I think that neutral evil is much more evil, can be much more evil than chaotic evil. Because chaotic evil is, if all evil is self-serving, it would be more accurate to call it the most selfish of the evils. Because it is just about what usually feels good to them. And we see this in characters that are fictional characters. To help demonstrate that are things like the classic one of the Joker. The Joker is chaotic evil. He is the antithesis of Batman's respect for order. He is the antithesis of that as a force of chaos. And that's the point of the Joker character. And it's why that dynamic works so well. So there is that one. There's also, if you go to the OG Loki, like, I'm not versed on all my Norse mythology, but if you look at Loki in Norse mythology, the real Loki, it was a lot of chaos for just the giggles of it, and that's a lot like Loki. And I suppose that the Loki in the first Avengers movie fit that bill a lot better. Now they've fleshed out, I guess you'd say, and they have made the character much more gray as he went on, because he was a very popular character to have, and was a very attractive one for the ladies that like the MCU to latch onto. So I understand why they did that, and marketing wise, good move. Not necessarily true to Loki in the old lore, but it worked for them.
Well, so it actually really depends on which myths and which eras you're looking at Loki. Sometimes he is a lot more chaotic neutral, not just for the last, but actively other Norse gods would come to Loki for assistance, and he would solve their problems in wacky fashion, but it was in end a good result.
Well, I think that's funny. That's a good point to bring up, actually, is that just because a being is chaotic evil, if their desire is served, things don't necessarily end evilly for you, the person that asked them for help. So kind of as an overarching idea, I would lean him more towards chaotic evil, mainly because he's very, in a very big way, responsible for the creatures that form Ragnarok in the lore and stuff. So there is that. But I see where you're coming from, because it does depend a lot on
all of these mythological things. In like certain versions, he has less impact or more impact. There's plenty of times where like the methods are not even really per se evil to the other people. It's just like strange, but it gets like a conflict resolved. But there are definitely tales where it is hard to call Loki anything but chaotic evil.
Yeah.
Right, so this is more of a just like, hey, mythology's weird, it's not so set in stone, than it is a saying that your portrayal is incorrect.
Yeah, and we could get into a whole discussion on how that happens in how lore can be affected. Like maybe this story wasn't originally about Loki, but Loki was put in there as part of the this and then that,
well,
and so
and
on.
which versions of the stories got saved? Like, how much of what we have is just like a couple of people who have like a wildly different view from everyone else at the time? But on Chaotic Evil, sorry,
on Chaotic Evil, stay on target, stay on target. Another one would be Morgoth, and this is very much that absolute destruction style, making their own thing because they want it. A very selfish ideal of things. Morgoth from I guess you would say the Tolkien universe, because he's not actually in Lord of the Rings. So, but you get the idea. That is one, and if you want to look that up, you could definitely see how. The more you look at Morgoth, the more you see a chaotic, evil design to things. I think that something more modern, like Carnage from Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Definitely chaotic evil, and definitely an interesting character as well, because it is a symbiote and a human, but they merge together so completely in thought and idea that instead of saying we like Venom does, they say I. Because Cassidy is Carnage and Carnage is Cassidy. So there is that. And so I think that's a good one if you want to look for absolute destruction. One that would be necessarily a better one to model a follower chaotic evil person after would be like Bellatrix Lestrange from the Harry Potter series. She's very much a chaotic evil force in that series. She is a Death Eater, she is a bad guy and stuff like that. But her chaos is directed towards the goals of the lawful evil guy. And so we see that start to move things along.
Yeah.
So, and then finally, for one that is a malicious force, but is not necessarily as, I guess you would say, gruesome as the other examples. Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. Also a good example of chaotic evil. So, I think those are some modern characters. If people are looking for things inside the Pathfinder universe, Rovagug is that classic absolute destruction type of thing. But you also have two other deities that are not quite like that. You have Lamashtu, who is... Lamashtu gets a really bad rap for being the mother of monsters and stuff like that. But if you are a monster, she's not... Like, her designs do not harm monsters as a whole in general, because she's the mother of monsters, and all these monsters are like her children. Now, she doesn't stop fights between her children or stuff like that, or those things, but she does nurture. She has that nurturing side, so it is a chaotic evil type of archetype to look at for a cosmic level chaotic evil that still wants to nurture and strengthen and build up and have more of followers and care about them in that sense. Because as we've discussed before when we've been discussing the evils, just because they're evil doesn't mean they don't have things or people they care about. Because even evil people do. So,
and we are looking at the cosmic evil good line. So their perspective might not be that, but from a cosmic level, they're fulfilling.
And then the last one was Grotesque, which is him and all the other old ones are well, he's not technically an old one, but all the Cthulhu mythos that I've seen in Pathfinder, it is either neutral evil or chaotic evil. And I understand why they did that, but if you're looking at the lore from a perspective of Lovecraft, that might not work. But in the game, it works. but Grotus is basically
Your two
the god
loves
of the
are
apocalypse.
fighting with each other.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Lovecraft would win because of the cosmic horror of it. But
Fair enough.
the Grotesque Deity is very enigmatic, and it's kind of like a chaos and an evil that is not overt, not pushing hard against the bad guy, against the good guys. It's like that inevitable decay and evil that is pushing in on them, that oppressive, very much like Lovecraft, that oppressive idea that it's all going to degrade in the end. It's not going to last. Nothing you do is going to be good enough. There will be the apocalypse. And he's characterized as a moon with a skull face in it. And he gets closer and further away from the boneyard of Pharasma, depending on how events are going in the material plane. So I think if you're looking at something like that, then it's much more, it allows a much more nuance. By looking at these three phases of chaotic evil, you have a lot more nuance to the chaotic evil alignment.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Grotus is almost entropy manifested.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to look at it. He basically is the manifestation of the apocalypse to come, period. Like he's that ever-present reminder of it.
Yeah. Malicious entropy.
Not like natural entropy.
Yeah, natural entropy, it just happens, right? Like, it doesn't want anything bad for you, it doesn't want.
Right.
Fair enough, right.
It's closer to a Cthulhuan, like Lovecraft mythos horror, that it is like an all-present, powerful, destructive force that cares nothing for you.
Yeah. Very much Azathoth, rather than... true entropy would be like Azathoth, which is why Azathoth would be just neutral to all the universe around it.
If entropy and avarice had a baby.
I guess so. I guess so. If entropy and malice had a baby, might be a better way to put it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay, so those are mine. What you guys got?
Oh man, I have so many thoughts. But Levi, if you have something, feel free. Or you. Hi.
Well, the only other one I saw that was taking on a less malice approach was Sweeney Todd. Being a serial killer, but you feel bad for him because he's against the judge in it. So you kind of feel bad for him, but in the end he is chaotic evil. He's killing people and But I just thought that was an interesting twist, and I'm like, how do you maybe that's a way to play a character in a group still being chaotic evil, because I feel like that would be something very difficult to do. Unless you just like killing everybody in the group.
If everybody's a murder hobo, then nobody is? Or how does that work?
Yeah, I've never played in a game like that. I've never played in a murder hobo game, and I'm like, I know that this happens, but...
Well, so the problem actually is often enough that it is not an entirely murder hobo game, which is where the problems lie. Like, if everyone goes into a game knowing you're about to murder hobo, it's kind of fun for a session. Right.
It's like playing hack and slash games to play hack and slash games. You're not thinking about the moral implications of killing all these goblins or, orcs or whatever. You're just here to have fun and slash stuff up. but our tabletop games don't usually do that, because you're kind of wanting to be on the good side of these people that you're going to go back to, or especially if you have a lot of demi-humans around or other races around. You want to have good relations with them. So
the world and the people still exist after you go and just terrorize a place.
Yeah.
But I do think, when I'm thinking about this, I am also on the focus of how do we get someone in a party with this without ruining the game for themselves and others. And I think it's a very strong point that having someone with a strong specific goal that they need other people for. They're to their heart, they are chaotic evil, They are willing to do whatever, no matter what, destroy every system to get to their things. Prefer if the system crumbled down, but they don't have the power to do that on their own. But they're traveling with these other people because this one thing is the most important thing to them. Mm-hmm. Like killing the judge.
Mm-hmm. And I think that the Sweeney Todd reference actually works better than Kristen might have thought, because that selfish stuff and things like that. That's why we said that neutral evil was so evil, is because it will do anything. It will go with law or chaos to get what it wants, with a cosmic alignment being served of chaotic evil. And Sweeney Todd actually works pretty well for that, because he's not just against the judge. He hates the whole system, because he got that system was corrupt and sent him away. So he doesn't just hate the judge. He hates the whole system, and the judge is a personal representation for him of that entire order.
Yeah.
So it works
the
really
tip of the
well.
iceberg.
Yeah. Because once he killed him, it wasn't like if he didn't get killed himself, he wasn't going to keep killing. Because he'd been killing people up until this point. And that's actually... I hadn't looked at it like that before, but it's actually a story about a chaotic group, a chaotic evil group. So, or at least an evil group, because the meat pie lady, she's not a good person.
No.
She's a bad person.
No, I think she's neutral evil along with the judge, because they're really evil. I don't know.
Lawful evil, yeah.
I feel like they're worse.
Well, the judge likes to use law to get what he wants, so he's very much that lawful evil characteristic. The whole story is about a bunch of evil characters. Maybe that's why I
bickering.
like it.
Bunch of evil punching itself in the face.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe the meat pie lady, if she's neutral evil, actually.
Yeah.
She's
She's just in it for the money and stuff.
Well, the money, and she likes Sweeney, so...
Yeah.
It's like, hey, there's this cool dude, there's free meat, it tastes great, like, life is good.
Yeah, back to that cannibalism we were talking about in the pre-chat.
Yes!
Yeah, although this is murder for cannibalism, and then secretly feeding people food they don't know what is.
That's true. Giving a whole bunch of people kuru real quick.
Right? There's a whole quest line.
Unironically, though, like, going into a town and there's a Sweeney Todd operation, that is a great...
Yeah, because they can dispose of the bodies real easy.
They do?
Yes, very efficient.
I mean, man, if you got a certain type of character, they may let them just do their thing, because they... Like, if you've got an evil group, and they know these other evil people are doing their thing, they may refer people to this wonderful barber that they know, and he was above the meat pie woman on Fleet Street, so.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And they would
they're such a power couple.
Take care of them.
Yeah, they are. Take care of you.
That's
really cool.
There's some kind of couple.
Yeah. Like, you'll get to eat pie while you get your hair cut. Like, good time.
Dark. I like it.
Yeah.
I'll transition it to something slightly different. Then, because I was thinking about with the discussion of Loki, I actually was watching a video when preparing for this, and one guy made a really good argument for Daredevil as well, or not Daredevil. I'm sorry. What's his name? Ryan Reynolds plays him. Breaks the fourth wall all the time.
Deadpool.
Thank you, Deadpool. Deadpool. Now I think this was a couple years ago. This guy made this video, so of course with comics and movies, depends on which one you're looking at.
Yeah.
But he made a really good point that Deadpool's always, even when he does good things, his actual reasons for it are usually, girls, money, yada yada, something like that. So that I also liked what we were talking about with Grotesque and Loki, because to me, looking at the Prozetta and that whole story, even individual stories, Loki might be doing something good, but it's never because he wants to do good. It's from some desire. He loves games, he loves winning, he loves tricking people and making people, look bad. And so the ultimate overarching story makes him that chaotic evil. In the end, and everything kind of hinting into our next discussion, but it leads, especially with Loki, he gets more and more evil because he keeps getting pushed further and further away from the gods by his actions, his chaotic actions. So I like the idea that it doesn't have to, a lot of times I think especially with chaotic specifically, we think it's just immediate in the moment, has to be happening. You just go with it. Chaotic can be a slow burn, which I think goes back to the Grotesque too, which could make it nice for a PC if it's a slow burn. You're not in a rush on these things. It's just whatever you can do to break the system a little bit, to do something on the evil scale to break the system. I just read a great story about some player that was doing to the party, they didn't even know he was chaotic evil because he was working with the DM behind the scenes to do certain things, so he was always creating a little chaos, but it always ended up helping the party, and that party shielded him. It's a survival mechanism for the party to shield him from any trouble, but it was a very slow burn. It's over years that he's doing just these little things, sowing chaos wherever he goes, never getting caught. So on the opposite end of that, which kind of is like Sweeney Todd, actually. If they were more patient, they could have gone on indefinitely.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I don't know. That's what I was thinking as you guys were talking about, that of being okay with, you don't have to have a character that immediately responds to every urge. They can have restraint. They can have reason. They don't have to be the classic chaotic stupid. You can be chaotic but still have reason and still have a method to your madness.
I'd venture to say that even if someone did want to play that absolute Rovagug or Joker style or something like that, where they were Carnage or something in persona, in the character, if they had they would need to have an attachment with another character to rein them in. And if that was if both players were on board with that, then that could work for if you had the absolute brute destroyer style of chaotic evil. You could do that in a group, as long as... I
do like that idea too. If both the players are in it.
Yeah, the group may look at it as harnessing evil to do good. And I think that works well. If that would work okay. I don't know how long it would work well, but it would work okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, again, going to what we'll talk about next too, that could be a really good beginning point to lead into something. Either one person's going to get pulled down or the other person's going to get pulled up. It could be a very interesting story.
Yeah. Or they split apart and one person becomes a boss fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
If he ever gets out, it would be really neat if the whole group bought into this. The idea that that this character is going to play a bad guy, but they have control over him. They have something over him, whether it's a collar or a mind thing or something like that. They have that control over him somehow. And
or even just being making an easily manipulatable character.
Yeah. Bad wisdom saves on purpose.
Yeah,
yes, right.
unironically. It's hey, I want to play a chaotic evil, big, strong, smashy barbarian, but I need you... I'm gonna be bad at insight, so you can all lie to me and convince me to do things so I can be part of the party.
Convince me to do it. Yeah, that would work. But yeah. I think if you had that, you could actually build up into the boss fight thing that you mentioned, kind of have that as the consequence if things went wrong. He's a really powerful weapon, and whatever, we'll say it's a collar for,
This purpose.
argument's sake. For example's sake, he has this collar. Well, if that collar is ever disenchanted or broken, then his full power is released, and he can just go on a rampage. And then the players have to fight him, and then you have your boss fight. So
what a great story.
That could work real well if he's been if he's been good up to that point, if he's been controlled up to that point, and he's been with the group for, let's say this is like 2/3 through your campaign, and he's grown in strength too. So he has his normal stats. He has his unleashed stats, but he doesn't have his... but he plays with these other stats until the collar comes off. And he may not be allowed... The evil creature with the collar may not be allowed to take it off. The enchantment, or however you want to work that, keeps him from doing that. But there's that part of him that's always wanting to get out. You could do a Bruce Banner and Hulk type of thing, but Hulk's not necessarily chaotic evil. Hulk's just Hulk. So, but as you move through that, you could have that, and it would actually be a kind of poignant moment for the group, having to put down this creature that had served them well up to this point, but was unleashed by the big bad. And that could hit drama strings and heartstrings of the players and the characters when they realize we have to destroy this thing now, or he's going to wipe out the town or something. Because if you want to have him be really big and bad, let him be really big and bad. Let him be a boss that has been controlled in some form or fashion. So,
I love that idea. I just had this vision of the collar coming off and then just turning, and this purely evil smile of joy as he's finally free.
Yeah. He's been having to sulk in the corner every time they talk to him or something, because he can't sass back. Well, he can sass back, but he can't do anything. So he's gotten sullen as his imprisonment has gone on. And maybe the paladin, or whatever good character you've got in there, has been trying to work with him. Perhaps it's a demon or something that's in a chain.
Yeah.
And they've been trying to convert him. Trying to talk to him, have him see how much good he's doing. And they don't realize that he is a being. They don't realize until the collar comes off that when he's finally free, and they're having this banter back and forth of, you look at all the good you've done, you don't have to give this up. He says, don't you understand? I am chaos. I am evil. Because, demons in the most lore are an embodiment of those things, those concepts. So, to be that, and to be forced to not be that, and then the paladin or whichever good character having to wrestle with the idea that they just forced a being to absolutely deny its core self to serve them, and how they have to wrestle with that, and those other different things. That could work out real good. That might lead into
the Lost Kingdom series.
Which one?
The Lost Kingdom series.
The Old Kingdom.
The Old Kingdom. They have this.
Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cat in it is actually a demon thing, and it has a collar, and it's pretty great.
You're right. That is.
It's that.
Is a
cool beans.
That's restrained.
What a PC.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we got our 10-minute warning. We need to sign off. We need to sign off and start the next chat. All right. So,
awesome.
We hope you've enjoyed this, everybody, and enjoyed this Around the Hearth about chaotic evil. Any final remarks before we get cut off?
My same thing as always. Try it, have fun. Be gracious to your other players and GM at the table.
And murder hobo.
And, go kill some stuff.
Good luck.
All right. Okay. As always, have a great day. God bless. and enjoy. And tell us down in the comments if you actually watched the bloopers for the Grotesque thing. Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.
Okie dokie.
A funny world we live in.
So, Chaotic Evil is this time. We've got... I'll probably do it... Oh, I probably need to record it before we do the spotlight. So, alright. You people watching the bloopers that are going to be called out for later. This is what was mentioned in the announcements that we're recording in a second. That was for Deadly D8. It was on Deadly D8's channel. If you want to look at the video that I commented it under, it's the Grotesque Hymns to Slowly Untether Your Party from Reality is where it was. And what happened is they posted that, and I was listening to it, and then this came to mind. So I figured I would read it on this particular one for the bloopers, since Grotesque is Chaotic Evil. So, there's a whole bunch of spooky noises behind and such. See now as I do, the black, formless void. Hold up the tapestry, the oblivion none may avoid. Sing with a voice like a nameless, faceless god. Far, far from home, where no angel has trod. Hear now the music, a chorus, a choir profane. Turn if you like, but in your mind the music remains. As the ruins where you wander, so will your soul ever be, and may you always remember, Grotesque has smiled on thee. So there you go.
Nice.
Okay. So that's for the bloopers. Now we need to actually record this stuff.
Spooky bloopers.
Spooky bloopers. Spooker bloopers. All right. Okay.
Good talk, you guys. That was fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chaotic Evil worked out. It wasn't.
It did.
It wasn't so bad after all. So there we go.
Oh.
Okay. I'll get the next chat started up.